Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, this guy is a national icon. We know him not just as T.J. Hooker, but our captain, my captain, your captain. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. William Shatner!
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, my time, it's 7:15 in the morning. So, gosh, this is like a real stage thing here. The light's blinding me. I can't see you. Look at all of you this morning. How wonderful to see you. So, little who? It's early in the morning. I get a who? Okay. That's better. How will we start? What will we do? I could talk to you for a moment. Who was here yesterday? And hands up, who were here yesterday? Okay, a lot of you. So I won't repeat that I hurt myself in a horse show and I'm strapped up and my back got a pinched nerve and can't wait for it to go away. But it's, I keep meeting, you know how if you're driving a certain car and you keep seeing that car coming at you, not because you're so aware of the car you're driving. I keep meeting people with sciatica pain. I got a bit of a sciatica. Oh, I've got that too. Everybody, well, I think a psychiatrist said, a therapist said, welcome to the human race. The back is a sore point. Okay, why don't I open it up to a question and I'll ramble on and we'll see where we go from there. Go ahead. What? Yeah, I see it. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
I think I told you. Not too well. Yeah. Go ahead.
This is my 4th panel of yours. And
Really?
yes, and I was wondering if we could start it off like an episode of Star Trek with you reading the monologue.
Reading the what?
Monologue, preamble thing, I don't know.
The monologue preempting?
The opening credits.
Oh, the opening credits.
Yeah.
There was somebody here with a T-shirt. There was a lady here yesterday with that whole Space the Final Frontier, because I can't remember those words. And those of you who were here yesterday heard me say that I never got it right. I never got Space the Final Frontier, the whole thing, right. I never got it to my satisfaction. I kept trying. I kept saying to the producers, let me try it again. I'd go into a studio and I never got it right. So yesterday, a lovely young lady was wearing a T-shirt with all of it on her front. So I told her to come up, and I read it off her chest. So it was, well, I don't want to repeat that again. But the amusing thing is, as I was doing it, I was listening to it, and I got it right finally by reading it off her chest. So
Should have done that originally.
and the font was perfect. So I won't do it again, but if I don't do that, have you got a question you want to ask me? Oh, you've gone. Oh, now you're running back. Oh dear. Well, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Now you're out of breath.
Oh, I need to think about it now. Hold on.
What did he say? You got to think about it.
This is stupid, but do you have a role that you always wanted to do? You've probably been asked that.
Wait a minute, I'm not understanding you. Slowly.
Do you have a role that you've always wanted to play?
Do I have a role that I've always wanted to play? No, I could say Spock. But I don't know. I started off my career in Canada playing classical theater, and so I've done a large number of the classics. In fact, Every year, in the last several years, Tom Hanks and his wife put on a Shakespeare Day at UCLA, the big university in Los Angeles, and it's a Shakespeare Day, and he gets all his friends, and I'm sort of a good acquaintance of his, and he calls upon us every year. It's a charity thing, and there's about an audience about this size, and we come in Monday morning, so I think it's like a week from today, that I'll be on stage reading and yet walking. So we come in early in the morning, 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, on a stage, something like this, and there's a dozen recognizable faces playing Shakespeare parts, and there's a real classical director, Shakespeare director, who does it as a living in schools, and it's a school program, so it benefits a school program, and there's this Shakespeare night with Hollywood actors, and we've read it once at a table, gone a second time on stage, like you move there and you move there, and then the third time we do it is in front of an audience, and we carry the script. It's called a reading, and we fill the house. It's a very expensive ticket. It benefits the schools, and it's been going on for years. And it's like a little stock company, and we have the best time. I'm going to do that a week from today with Tom Hanks and his wife and company. Yeah. So, is there a role I want to play? No, but I don't know. You know, I would love to have worked with one or two of the great directors in film. A film is made by the director. The actors are all right. I mean, you can do something in the film. I'm going to do a film in November, I think, of a story that I wrote, and then I commissioned a screenplay and paid for the screenplay years and years ago. In fact, Maury Hurley, this is something I hadn't thought of. Maury Hurley became a friend of mine. Maury Hurley was the producer in the first 2 years of The Next Generation. So Maury Hurley had been a wonderful writer prior to his connection with Star Trek, and was a prolific writer afterwards, and he became a friend of mine as a result of us working together. So he'd come up to my house for Monday Night Football. I'd get 20 guys up there. I put in a big screen with a projector, and it's like an 11-foot screen, and it's very bright, and order good food, and it's the basis of a great party for Monday Night Football. It's become kind of renowned, and when I come into contact, when I do something and I make friends and there's something in the vehicle I'm doing, I invite them up. So there's like 20, 30 people come up, we sit around and do the football. So Maury would come up, and I thought of a story. And again, yesterday I gave you the one-line outline of the story, and I'm kind of proud of it because it's very rare that you can take an idea, get a screenplay, write a screenplay, and get it produced. And that's what's happening with me. And the irony is, Maury, who was a dear friend, died about 6 months after Leonard died, a couple of years ago. So I miss Leonard as a great friend, and Maury Hurley's name will be on the screenplay. A wonderful young writer-director, his name is Jared Cohen, is going to direct it, and I'm thrilled with what's going to happen. I wrote a story about a soldier who has a heart attack, a very brave man has a heart attack, almost dies, and when he almost dies, he sees, instead of that light at the end of the tunnel thing with the angels, it's devils and gargoyles, and then the doctors pull him back from death, and he's back from death, but he sees what dying could be like, and now he fears to die, and he spends the rest of his time in the screenplay being afraid to die and not save his family, and the cowardice that he shows. So it's a fun horror film that Jared Cohn is going to direct. Maury Hurley's name is on it. My name is on it. I'll play the father of the hero, and it's like a whole thing has happened, and it's very rare. So I'll celebrate that with you when the movie comes out. At the moment, it's called Relic, or I prefer the Spanish name that I gave it, Relique. So Relique will be out there, and it's a dream come true. So, is there a role I want to play? I want to play the father of that hero who's afraid. I want to play that role because it was written for me, and that's how it works. Okay? Thank you. But you know, people spend a lifetime trying to do just that very thing. As an actor, I came to Los Angeles for films after I'd been on Broadway a number of times, and prior to that in Canada doing television and writing for television as well. I sold some screenplays. In fact, I met my wife on a casting call in a script that I had written for the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. Then I moved to New York and did plays in New York, but I didn't write there, and then moved to Los Angeles when the whole business moved from New York to Los Angeles. And I was always trying to write, but never being successful at it. And then Star Trek happened, and I got the opportunity to collaborate with other writers in writing books about Star Trek. And so I wrote several books about what I thought Captain Kirk would do. This was after, in the film, Captain Kirk died. But I asked permission for Paramount to write as though he lived. So there's a number of books out there that I've written in collaboration. And they're sort of autobiographical. I gave to Captain Kirk elements of my life and dramatized them and made them part of Captain Kirk. So it's really interknit, the whole thing about what to play and what is their role. No, but I was privy to Star Trek and Captain Kirk, and then as a result of that celebrity, was able to write and make Captain Kirk a more fully fledged character, which brings me to other novels that I've written. I've got a book out there right now, called The Spirit of the Horse, in which I celebrate this connection I have with horses and animals. I believe that everything is connected. I believe, since we're all made of everything's made of stardust, and those elements of stardust is what's in our body, we tick in different manners and different rhythms, but we're all part of the same thing. The trees, the plants, even inanimate. How does a crystal work? I mean, the crystal is very close to life. It's reproducing, which is one of the aspects of the definition of life. It has to reproduce. I mean, there's even the theory of Gaia. The Gaia theory of the world, of the earth, is that Gaia is like Mother Earth. And the earth is alive. It has circulation, it breathes. Look at the miracle of salinity. this concept is like extraordinary. The Earth has been around, according to scientists, I don't want to offend anybody, for 4.5 billion years. And during that time, the waters of the sea have been there. Water it doesn't disappear. Water is, the amount of water that was is. It doesn't change. It just circulates. It evaporates and comes down as rain and goes into the ocean, and the amount remains the same. So in 4.5 billion years of the circulation of water running down from the earth, bringing elements to the ocean and salt, the oceans should be incredibly salty. But the salinity of the oceans hasn't changed in millions of years, and that's why the entities, the living things in the ocean can live. If it's too salty, they die. Why has Gaia, Mother Earth, maintained that salinity? How? For all those millions of years. That's a mystery. Except that places like the Mediterranean Ocean, with that blockage at Gibraltar, history, scientists have told us that every so often the Mediterranean becomes blocked from the Atlantic Ocean, and the Mediterranean Ocean has evaporated and become a desert of salt. Years, millions of years go by, the salt is covered up, it unplugs at Gibraltar for some reason, probably earthquake, and everything moves around, and a passage is opened up. They think that might be the original reason for the Bible saying the flood, here comes the Mediterranean. And under the Mediterranean are salt mines that are no longer, excuse me, that are no longer in the ocean. They're now embedded in the earth, and that salt has been taken out of the ocean. And so the theory is that's how the salinity has remained the same, and Mother Earth is maintaining that salinity. The way the rules of nature, where you can overfeed and then you die if you overgraze. All these animals who lack the predators are dying of starvation, so they maintain this. That's why lemmings go on. They feed, and they've overfed, and they move to the next place. That's the same thing. The balance of nature is maintained by Mother Earth. So it's a marvelous theory of how we're all connected. And that's my tirade about how I felt this connection between me and the horses that I've been around, and the various things that have happened to me, to show you this connection between animals that are domesticated, horses and dogs, which I have a long and loving connection with, dogs and horses, how all of us are connected to everything. And this book, Spirit of the Horse, is out there sort of referring to that. Another book that I have out there is called G2. And there, my supposition is 50 years from now, there's going to be enough vehicles with people in them that it'll require police officers. And so the FBI will go out in space. So G2 refers to G space and no gravity in space, and G-men. And it's this is a sequel this year from last year's novel. So it's interesting reading. If you're interested in science fiction, I recommend the books, because these science fiction books are imaginative amplifications of theories that are